Lift your hands, worship him, exalt him. You are dog Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan. Hallelujah, hallelujah, for the Lord our Hoogan reigns. Hallelujah, hallelujah, for the Lord our Hoogan reigns. Hoogan, Hoogan, you are dog Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan. You are Lord dog Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. Amen. We exalt you, Hoogan, Hoogan, Hoogan. You are Lord dog Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan, you are Lord dog Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. Amen. Hallelujah, hallelujah, for the Lord God Almighty reigns. Hallelujah, hallelujah, for the Lord God Almighty reigns. We exalt you, Hoogan. All the Pharaoh children sing, glory, glory, he reigns. All the Pharaoh children sing, glory, glory, he reigns. Hoogan, you are Lord God Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. You are the Hoogan. You are Lord God Almighty, worthy is the dog, worthy is the dog. Amen. We exalt you, Hoogan. We exalt you, Hoogan. We exalt you, Hoogan.
Worthy is the dog. It's the Almighty Hoogan and his song from your sister Melissa. For your sister Melissa. You want me to get dolls? Like creepy dolls? Or stuffed animals, please? Oh, you should I get Hoogan dolls made? Shit, that's a tall order. Jen's missing tooth. I love oh, Laura, your fucking name. Dude, Jen's missing tooth kills me. What did you guys think about Romeo Rose this morning? I'm sorry to do that to you. I'm sorry I had to show you Romeo, but if I've got to see him, you've got to see him. I have been doing the OSINT. He was homeless in Seattle. By the way, let me take a moment and update Dad's boyfriend while he's here before I forget. Babe, do you remember Romeo Rose? Yeah, he went homeless during the pandemic and lives in Seattle. Yeah, he said good. All right. Anyway, this is a mockery to the holy God Almighty. You will suffer the consequences. Oh, I probably will. God, I hope so. I fucking hope so. Otherwise, it's not worth all the work Melissa did. You know? May he smiteth me for loving the Hoogan above all others. I probably deserve it. It's going to be a Kama Sutra part 2. What are you talking about? Are you talking about Romeo Rose? You know this is wrong. Oh, I fucking know it, and I'm doing it anyway. I'm doing it anyway. It's not wrong to worship our Lord Dog. I missed it, unfortunately. Loved the Romeo Rose content. Excellent. We'll keep up to date with him. We will keep up to date with him, and we will see how Romeo is doing. He's a racist slob with blinding teeth. He took Jen's, and he should give it back. He took Jen's tooth? Dude, he's a whole vibe. What a bad person. What a bad human that guy is. But he led us down a wonderful trail that I'll never forget. You guys got to see David Comey, the lawyer that rocks. You guys got to see Adam Raposa, the lawyer that gets DWIs and gets you off of your DWIs. You got to see the Cola sisters cooking good and then beating the shit out of a marionette. That was fun. Getting wasted and kicking the shit out of a marionette in a crowded kitchen in Austin, Texas. I mean, we got to see that weird public service or public access that weird puppet, the Ancient Secrets puppet. What else did we see this morning? We saw a lot this morning. Like, we saw a lot. It was a whole lane that we went down that I will never forget. And I absolutely loved going through the history of public access and Austin with you in general. It was very fun. We did a lot today, this morning. And I thank you for joining us. As you know, we are a cult. If this is your first time here, you should have read the fine print. That's on you. Fuck you. Worship my dog. Also, hey, family, potato scrunchy, says Tracy. Need some Z says, to be honest, I like to insert my dog's name into the worship song. Not sorry. You should be allowed to do that. In fact, I will allow it. None of it helps Texas's bad reputation. I kid, of course, Texas is great. It's not great. It's horrible here. It's a cesspool of hell. But thank Christ, our Hoogan, for public access. There's nothing better than old 90s public access in Austin, in my opinion. Also, we're the home of found footage. My old neighbor actually started the found footage festival. And we have a lot of really great found footage here that's not just from Texas. It's from all over the United States. It somehow ends up here. And I absolutely love it. My membership ran out. Had to order a new debit card. I'll be back in green when card comes in. Michelle, put yourself on timeout. No, I'm just kidding. Put yourself on accept membership. Can somebody in the chat who's done that before help her? Because I actually have never done that, but I believe you can go put your settings to where you can accept a membership or something. And then if somebody gifts a membership, you might just get one and you don't have to have a new debit card. And that would rule. That would rule for you, Michelle. All right. Today we've got a lot on the agenda. I want to get to it. I want to do it to it. I'm going to start with part 3 of Jason Landry. I told you guys I was combing through the old videos. Hello, Shadow. Shadow says, hey, everyone. Ooh, Shadow, you're shadowy. Love that for you. Welcome, welcome. We're going to start with Jason Landry. If you guys haven't been following along with that case, we're going to watch a 22-minute video, okay? I am going to put it on 1.25 speed after we get through a couple of parts at the beginning, because the way KTXS made this video and KXAN and all the other news stations, they've all been covering the case since Jason Landry went missing. They splice some of it together and make the updates. So this specific one it's definitely got pieces in it that are spliced together from stuff we've already seen, but it is an update that includes the naked call that I talked to you guys about. It's from 4 months ago. A lot of people interpreted this as a 911 call from someone who saw a naked guy being reported over the call center line. However, others say that it was misinterpreted and they were warning, hey, this is what you should look out for. I told you guys how I was looking for this footage because out of all the videos I've seen and all the reports I've seen and all of the court paperwork, everything that I've seen, which there is very little court stuff on, by the way, because of course they haven't found him. But out of everything I've seen from this, this is the only one that mentions the naked man thing outside of the suggestion of the volunteer fireman. This video has some of the body cam footage in it, spliced in with the search efforts. It's from 4 months ago. It is one of the most recent updates. It's all inclusive. You are going to see things in it you've already seen, but I want you to pay attention to the first 5 minutes because that's where you're going to see or hear, I guess, a lot of interesting little things that maybe you didn't catch before. And I want to know how you interpret it because I've tried to get answers to this. I really am pretty sure that this is a situation where someone was warning what to look out for. However, there have been people who swear up and down, no, there was a call about a naked guy and the police don't want you to know about it. that could be bullshit, but let's just see what we have available for us from Dispatch and then make our own judgments. I was a little torn on it. Then I re-listened to it a few times, and now I think that it's possibly a warning of what to look out for. Let's just see, okay? So I'm going to hit play. We're going to stop once in a while, and we're going to talk about it, and we're going to get some of your feedback. Also, hello, Martian Planet Art. Hello, Tracy Pope. You're listening in the background. Thank you so much, Martian. You must have the Chris Gaines shit in the archives because that's hard to find on the net now. Ooh, boo. I'll send you all kinds of Chris Gaines shit. I didn't forget. I actually still have cassette tapes. When I was a little kid, you could get the there was like the adult Happy Meals and the kid Happy Meals for a while, and now they do them as like special features or whatever at McDonald's. There was also like this teenage Happy Meal that was basically for fat kids and in-betweens. And when you would get that, there was like a week or two in San Antonio. I don't know if they did this anywhere else, but a week or two where instead of giving you a toy, they gave you a Chris Gaines cassette tape. And I still have mine. If I need to transfer it onto the net, I'll fucking do it. Chris Gaines, I believe, is fully complicit in what we're going to read later. I'm kidding. It's some really serious trigger warning, shock warning. It's some crazy shit. The Garth Brooks court papers, the affidavits, everything. But when I say crazy shit, I'm not saying like it's not true. I'm saying Garth is a crazy motherfucker, in my opinion, allegedly for entertainment purposes only. And add the Chris Gaines shit on it, we've got a dissociative disorder, ladies and gentlemen. Calamity Jade says, no, Jen's missing tooth. We don't claim him as a Texan. I live in Texas. It does most definitely have its moments and bad representation. We absolutely claim him. He's a piece of shit, and he's our piece of shit, and fuck him. If you're talking about Romeo Rose, he's our fault. Sometimes you just gotta take the fucking hand you're dealt and then try to hide it under the table and be like, don't look at that. Okay. But yes, he is our fault. He's 100% our fault. We need to take ownership and we need to apologize to the nation. So to the rest of America, I apologize for Romeo Rose. He is a piece of shit. That's our bad. We're sorry we gave him a bus pass. I don't know what to tell you. Calamity Jane says hello to Martian. Holly says, Dad, you have a new snazzy globe. Lickety McLickerson. Yeah, that's a Golden Globe, you guys. I got it for being a bait ace. Just kidding. I got it at a yard sale. Martian Planet Art says hello. Turtle Heading says hi, chat and Dad. Where are you going, Dad's boyfriend?
Did you hear about Garth Brooks? He got in trouble for putting his hands in low places.
Did you guys hear that? Or did my mic settings canceling out background noise block him out? Because if it didn't, Dad's boyfriend came in with a good ass dad joke. He said Garth Brooks got busted putting his hands in low places. Dark subject matter, dark humor. He will rot in hell for this. Very funny. Very funny. Very funny, babe. He just got back from doing Roast Battle. If you guys watch, is it on, what channel is Roast Battle on? Yeah, but what's the YouTube channel? Is it Comedy Mothership or Roast Battle? They don't put any on the Comedy Mothership page? I thought they had a separate page. Okay, I guess it's just Roast Battle. You might have to type in Roast Battle Texas.
So all the Comedy Mothership ones are on there.
Yeah, all the Comedy Mothership ones are on there, and he does the DJing for it. So anytime you hear like anytime a fat guy walks out and you hear the song 300 pounds, that is Dad's boyfriend making fun of someone. And you'll probably see me on there getting ripped apart and ripping others apart. Hi, JB, says Martian Planet Art. JB, I'd like to thank you for your sacrifice on Gray Pube's channel. That was nice of you to troll him on behalf of your dad and to shout out your dad. And I applaud all of your efforts to try to get him to step and pull up. Maybe one day he'll pull up and we can do a Birdman on him. I would love to Birdman the fuck out of Gray. But unfortunately, Gray Pubes did not show up. You took the hit, JB. Thank you for that. That was very funny. Calamity says turtle. Martian says hi. Need some Z says that's crazy. Yes, he is. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'm sure it's on point. Oh, I refuse to own that being. He has to be a transplant. I am, but I behave. Yeah, you do behave. Romeo Rose does not understand behaving, though. How can you with those teeth? Calamity Jade, they took my Jewish parents to a neighborhood and said, don't worry, no Jews are allowed to live here. Uh-oh, burn rubber out of ATX to Arizona. Oh, shit. Where were you? Were you in Houston or Dallas? Because in Austin, they just take you to the community center and be like, have a lucky. Michelle says, ha 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 ha, dad's boyfriend. Sunny Lynn says, bum. Hey, dad's boyfriend, scrunchy, scrunchy. Oh, Tracy. He says, hello. Holly, I see that. That is going to get a set of snazzy encyclopedias and make us read them. Goddamn right. You're going to read every encyclopedia. That'd be Likety McLikerson. Oh, I thought you said lick. I thought you were trying to lick my fucking globe. I was like, Holly's a weird one. Just let her do it. Sunny says, drum, drum, drum. Holly says, I heart encyclopedias, Clam. I hope I get sent to my room with them. Well, now I'm taking them, and you're getting sent to your room with a fucking Xbox where you will suffer and play games. Ha 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 ha. Happy to drop a flaming turd on the mean uncle's porch. Hell yeah, good. Proud of you kids. Oh my God, Jen's missing tooth. That's beyond words and sick. And don't brain you. Don't ever brain your sister. Houston, says Joe. Oh, of course it was fucking Houston. Well, that makes sense now. All right. Let's watch this existing updated Jason Landry footage. I am going to pause it at the part I would like you to take note at, and then we will move on and discuss Garth. And then our fourth installment of Jason Landry will come up, and that is where we go over the rumors and speculation, and we mash that shit into the ground, call it bullshit, and shame anyone who shared it. Okay, let's go. This is the leftover footage from the case. Now, also, before I show you this, I'm going to read you a snippet from the Find Jason Landry page on Facebook that I think best sums up his case for those of you who have not seen our previous or prior, if you will, installments. At the age of 21, Jason David Landry specifically, disappeared on his way home from college for the holiday break. This was over Christmas. Jason, a Texas State student, left his apartment in San Marcos at 10:55 p.m. This would be on December 13th, 2020. So 4 years ago, December 13th. He left his apartment in San Marcos at 10:55 p.m. heading towards his parents' neighborhood in Sienna Plantation. Now, I would like to just possibly correct this. I say possibly because this is one of the things we're going to solidify and figure out, just to correct the record. This is what is on his Facebook page. This is also what's been reported. However, there have been interviews with Jason's friends who were with him and who he was actually going to specifically visit, who he was speaking to on the Snapchats that we saw. If you didn't see those, we saw some Snapchats and some online social media behavior of Jason from the day he went missing. So a few hours before that, his friends screen captured. I believe one said he was concerned about Jason. Jason was sweating profusely, and he was talking a lot about his third eye and saying a lot of things that one would say if perhaps they were maybe on mushrooms. We're not going to speculate on that, although many people have, and the police have made it a fucking priority to mention constantly his drug use, which was marijuana. However, they say a narcotic. So it's very deceptive, I think, the way that it has been reported by both the police and at times the media. Anyway, he's talking about his third eye being open and shit. He's sweating a lot. His homie screen records because he's a little concerned. Now, this is where it gets a little different. Everything reports that he was supposed to go to his parents' house, right, at Sienna Plantation, which is out in like Missouri City near Houston. In reality, he was going to go to a friend's house, which is why he rolled all the joints, packed them, and put them in that medicine tube. Now, that was not a novelty one from one of the convenience stores like I thought. I did inspect it closer. It is just a big old pill bottle. So he put in an old big pill bottle some joints. He rolled about 5 or 6, maybe 7, and then he had a separate one in a blueberry tube. I thought this was interesting. I'm going to tell you why in a little bit, but I have a theory on that. Anyway, he was supposedly going to a friend's house, not his parents. He was going to go play video games with his friend, smoke, get a little bit high, and then go see family. For any of you from Texas with a large family, God bless them. We love them to death. But we all know that the routine is you go hang out with your friends from high school, you see a couple of cousins, you get a little faded, you go back home, you eat all the food in the house, you wake up, parents never know what happened, right? You're in your 20s, you're hiding this shit from them, even though you're an adult. You do it because in Texas, parents are scary. They wave guns. They are not afraid to show up at the PTA meeting and kick your ass. This is just fucking how it works, right? So I'm inclined to believe that's what he was doing because I just don't see him, especially with his dad being a defense attorney turned pastor. I don't see him as doing all of that at his own house. Not to mention, his buddy in this documentary straight up says, like, Jason was coming to my house first. So while he was going towards Missouri City, his buddy's house was near there, not too far away from his dad's. Why is that important? Because the timeline's fucking important. So that's one of the things we're going to work to clarify. But these are the two statements that have been made by people close to him who saw him that day, who talked to him, and also from the police by way of the parents to the media, which is a big game of telephone. The two statements are he was heading to his parents, he left at 10:55, and he was heading to a friend's near his parents. Does it change anything? Not really, because he didn't make it there to begin with, but the intent behind it and his future plans, that is very important, especially when you consider that other rumors, friends, girlfriends of his friends have stated that, and his ex-girlfriend stated, two friends, that he also had made comments about, have you ever wondered how to go missing or how to disappear? That creates a third obstacle or potential route this could have gone. So I do think it's important, but I just wanted to state that. Okay, let's continue. The night of December 13th was an unseasonably cold night with wind chills reaching approximately 24 degrees. 24 degrees in Texas is the equivalent to like -10 anywhere else. We treat it like it's a horror show, all right? We treat it the way they treated the blizzard the night of John O'Keefe's murder. Like, this is a big deal. Why would you go out? However, when you're a college kid and when you're a college kid and you're traveling home or going anywhere for the holidays, you're gonna fucking go so you're not stuck in the dorm. The roads don't get salted here. I don't believe there was any ice on the road. I've had a couple of people message me asking about the road conditions, and his car ended up being found on a dirt road. So I don't think that ice or like hydroplaning was even an option here. So let's continue. The wind chills reached approximately 24 degrees. His last known location via a digital footprint was in Luling, Texas at approximately 11:26 p.m. on December 13th, 2020. By the way, they carefully plotted out his digital footprint. It has all been done. His shit's been given to Cellbrite, I believe, or at least to digital forensic people who have dealt with everything from the wall LAN data and the cell phone, what towers they pinged on, who he texted. They've got it all. Okay. The phone was found at an intersection in this tiny town. And then about 5 to 8 miles away, his phone was pinged at that intersection last. 5 to 8 miles away is where his car was found, crashed, wrecked out, totaled, back window smashed from trees falling in. I know that we had some questions about how the back window got smashed. It was from tree branches. His phone was actually in the vehicle, but it last pinged in this city at this intersection. It's a very tiny city. Jason's wrecked car was discovered by a volunteer firefighter at approximately 12:31 a.m. on December 14th. So it's late at night, December 13th. Within an hour of the phone's last ping, all of a sudden, it was within 2 hours of the phone's last ping. His vehicle is wrecked out on this road. It's found by a volunteer firefighter, same guy who called it in. All right. But same guy who also made a couple of other statements that people are constantly questioning. You'll hear him in a minute. I'll point him out on the video. You tell me what you think. Okay. So his car was found by a volunteer firefighter at approximately 12:31 a.m. on December 14th in the 2300 block of Salt Flat Road in Luling. The car was inoperable, so he couldn't have driven away even if he wanted to. However, law enforcement officials believe the crash was survivable. It had to be because his body wasn't there, right? Jason's last known clothing, wallet, phone, and keys were all left at the scene or in the car. And I'm talking like spread around 200 to 500 yards, like down this road to the car, stuff scattered. Okay. Phone in the car. Very important. Jason's last known clothing, wallet, and phone keys were all left at the scene of the car. 7 major professional searches spanning more than 50 square miles have produced no sign of Jason in the area where his car was found. All right, so let's go ahead and start this video. I want you guys to pay close attention and let's get this going. Here we go.
Left the keys in there and it's all locked up.
I don't know if he saw all his clothes and stuff. Like, he's completely naked wherever he's at. Right, Collins, you good?
Time has gone by in a blur,
Red subject is coming back to Missouri City.
but yet it's also been so long. Because every day, that could be the day you get the call.
Jason Landry, a Texas State University student from Houston, disappeared Sunday, December 13th. His car was found crashed in a remote area outside Luling. Austin-based nonprofit Texas Search and Rescue combed the pump-jack-dotted landscape for 9 days with no sign of Landry.
Law enforcement sources are telling us that they now need your help to figure out what happened during the 67-minute window between the time they last have a digital footprint of Landry and where his vehicle was found crashed just after midnight on December 14th. Investigators say his last digital footprint was at the intersection of Austin Street and Magnolia in Luling. His car was found wrecked in the 2300 block of Salt Flat Road, about 5 miles away.
Got his backpack here, shirt and watch right there, shoes, and right up there is where his shorts and underwear are. Yeah, fish or something in that car. Yeah, it's dead.
This video was of the night Jason Landry's crashed vehicle and belongings were found laid out along a desolate road in Luling, Texas. His car was found December 13th, 2020, around 11:30 p.m. There was no sign of the Texas State student.
We do believe he's possibly injured.
The Caldwell County Sheriff's Office also gave us a copy of their dispatcher's calls regarding the crash.
Texas State University.
Hello, this is the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office.
The dispatcher contacts Texas State to check Landry's address off campus. They also call Verizon Wireless to get the location of Jason's cell phone. Verizon gives them coordinates that pinpoint the cell phone on Hoover Street at 2 a.m., nearly 5 miles away from where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property. I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident? Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
The next morning.
Okay, so this is the part that I was talking about. Also, hi, Darlene. I hope you found your pen, hon. Okay, I want to listen to that part again. The possible naked dude plotting. Like, this is very confusing. This is the only snippet that we have of this. I haven't seen his parents comment on this. I haven't really seen anybody comment on it. This is the only place I have seen this. If any of you happen to be really into this case and find anything else with this part of this dispatch call, I'm not sure if it is the same call, if it's a different call. There have been rumors that it was somebody called in and stated there was a naked dude. I'm trying to figure this out. So let's listen to it again.
State to check Landry's address off campus. They also call Verizon Wireless to get the location of Jason's cell phone. Verizon gives them coordinates that pinpoint the cell phone on Hoover Street at 2 a.m., nearly 5 miles.
Oh, hi, Uncle Frank. I hope you're doing better, Uncle Frank. Give us update.
Away from where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property.
Okay. There's a possible naked dude is plotting, is what it says right here. I thought the first time I heard this that they must have gotten this wrong, because it sounded to me like she said there's a possible naked dude spotting, as in someone had spotted him. Yes, like what Sunny says. Let's hear it again. I'm going to turn it up even because this is very important and confusing. This happened in Texas in 2020. So here's what trips me out. It's just like Maura Murray. It's in Maura's case, right? She was a student. She was having issues, I think, with school, right? She was worried about getting kicked out. She'd already left West Point. She was in nursing school. She's packing up her dorm shit. She went and bought vodka, and she had apparently had, I guess, like a drinking problem, something like that, supposedly. People had speculated she'd been depressed. Other people said no, she was fine. But she basically left college. She was supposed to be traveling somewhere. She didn't reach her destination. She fucking crashed her car, and then she's just fucking gone. And her stuff is all in it. Exact same situation as Jason, except replace the booze with pot. He's on his way to his parents specifically or his friends. Also around a third of the way or halfway point to potential final destination. Also totally disappeared. Also no sightings whatsoever, even though they canvassed the area frequently. Dad, same dad situation. Dad is desperate. Dad is crying on the news. Dad is trying to find his kid. Dad insists, like, we gotta fucking get shit together and find my kid. It's very Maura Murray, but it's a 21-year-old college student. And the big difference here, I think, is that there's a potential for either paradoxical undressing, the burrowing thing that we talked about, or just him taking all of his clothes off because his clothes were found in the road. Okay. So keep that in mind. Also, Uncle Frank update, still in the hospital. And Deb brought me for tea a little bit ago. Going to do some more tests and try different meds. And if it helps throughout the day, I can go home because the AIP results. Let's all pray to the Hoogan for Uncle Frank. Won't be back for a week. Okay, so the results won't be back for a week, but you might be able to go home. This is exciting news. Let's pray for good test results. I hope that you're okay. Ray Twice, thank you for joining and being a new member. Welcome. You're in a cult. Holly Sabone said, did AD bring apples? Don't you dare. First of all, those apples are for the cows. Second of all, bring me apples, Aunt Deb. Third of all, Uncle Frank, when you get out, you should go feed apples to cows with Aunt Deborah, that whore. Benson, did I hear vodka? Yes, you did. Hello, Dillhole. Did you poop today? No apples, but we got snacks courtesy of our favorite Allison. Oh my God, yes. Love that for you. Love snacks. All grottenunk. Aunt Deb has been so giving this weekend. He has such a kind heart, and he's a whore. That would be awesome, Uncle Frank. Fingers crossed. Uncle Frank fingers. Oh my God, let's start a restaurant. Yeah, we're hoping for the best for Uncle Frank. And we're hoping for the best for the whore, Aunt Deb. And Uncle Frank, all gratin to you. Let's continue and see what we hear.
2 a.m., nearly 5 miles away from where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property. I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident? Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
The next morning, when Jason's father arrives at the towing company, he finds Jason's cell phone inside of the car.
What the heck happened back here?
Something happened to Jason. Nothing should happen between San Marcos and Houston that would cause you this nightmare. I got there about 5 in the morning, and I was the only one there looking for him. Got his phone from the car about 7 in the morning.
Authorities leave behind some of his things on the side of the road.
Okay, let's hear it one more time. Because, see, I heard spotting, right? But now I'm listening to it really loud. It does sound like plotting. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Let's see if I can turn it up. Sorry, you can't hear the video, but I'm super loud. Fuck. All right, let's turn it up. Here we go.
His father finds them the next day as he searched for his son.
This is his toiletry bag. This is his flip-flops.
Actually, I might need to go back more. Right here.
5 miles away from where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property. I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident? Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
The next morning, when Jason's father arrives at the towing company, he finds Jason's cell phone.
Yeah, I hear plodding. Is that a word? I've never heard of that. I don't really get to learn very many new words that surprise me every day. It's always like, oh, I know that. I just didn't know what it meant. This is a new ass word for me. Plodding. What does that mean? With 2 D's? I'll just look it up. Interesting. Interesting. What do you it's better? Okay, good. Also, Dillhole, thank you for being a member for 2 months. Oh wow, all you legends. I'm gonna close my eyes and listen. A closed mouth gathers no farts. I'm just kidding. It said feet, but that's hilarious. Let's listen again. The fire guy keeps coming up because he found the car. Here's another thing that's interesting. He had been on a parallel road a couple like basically the roads here are really far apart. So he had been on a parallel road that was probably like a couple acres or like a mile away and kind of ran parallel to it. Different dirt road entirely. But in these areas, like you maybe see one car go by every 30 minutes to an hour. Okay. So this guy calling it in and then kept saying he. And hold on. What was that? Hold on 1 second. Oh my God. We are the worst. Moogies, we're so sorry. The Hoogan got left outside, you guys. Oh no, Hoogies. I'm sorry. We have to hug the Hoogan. Hold on. Bring him on cam. Bring him on cam. Bring him on. You could have a piece of pizza. No, he's going to get itchy butthole. Show everyone the Hoogan. Everyone, our Lord God got locked outside. He just did a yip. He just went yip, yip, yip. Oh, honey. He's squeaking. What's in his mouth? What'd you eat? Did you eat a possum? How did he get outside?
I guess he just ran out when I brought the pizza.
Oh my God. Dad's boyfriend brought pizza in, and I think the Hoog snuck out and got locked out. We heard a yip outside. We both were like, what? Sacrifice Dad. Oh no. We're going to sacrifice me now. Fuck. Miss Parks. Hey, cuzzo. Hey, girl. We just locked the Hoogan outside. That has never happened before. Honey, I'm so sorry. Honey, here. Oh, we'll give you medication later. You could just have that. Oh, I feel so bad for him. Poor little guy. Oh, now you get all the evil treats. Oh, my God. This poor little angel. Honey, I'm so sorry. Oh, he's pissed. He's so pissed, you guys. All right. So, who? He's like George Zimmerman. Who? Hoogan? Oh, no. Hoogan. What'd you do? What'd you do to Trayvon Hoogan? How dare you? With the other tire marks. So, yeah, the other tire marks, I mean, to me, it looks like someone runs someone off the road. We also have speculation on that. Some people swear up and down it's the tow truck driver towing the vehicle out. I don't really see it. That seems a little weird. But at the same time, possible. Here's the thing. When the tow truck takes the car out, they take it like Savannah Soto's car. They put it up on a lift. It doesn't like wheel the 2 tires of the car dragging behind it like you'd see some tow trucks. So you should only have 1 set of wheels because it's a parallel 2 set and it does follow perfectly with the skids to where he ended up in the fence. To me, it looks like someone tried to run him off the road, but we'll get back to that. Let's hear them say plodding again. And I saw one of you said that it means to walk slowly. Like a slow walk. Thank you, Ducati girl. Wow. Interesting. Wow. All right, let's keep listening. I want to hear it again. I'm not going to repeat it again after this, but I will put a link to this in the description so that those of you who want to go back and rewatch it and take notes can do that. Here we go.
From where his car was discovered hours before.
Possible naked dude is plotting in the area of that property. I'm sorry, a possible naked dude? Is this the dude from the car accident? Yeah, that's what the fire guy said.
The next morning, when Jason's father arrives at the towing company, he finds Jason's cell phone inside of the car.
What the heck happened back here?
Something happened to Jason. Nothing should happen between San Marcos and Houston that would cause you this nightmare. I got there about 5 in the morning, and I was the only one there looking for him. Got his phone from the car about 7 in the morning.
Authorities leave behind some of his things on the side of the road. His father finds them the next day as he searched for his son.
This is his toiletry bag. This is his flip-flops. These are Jason's clothes lying.
All right. For the record, any of you just joining us who have not seen the prior content on Jason, just to clear it up, here's exactly what went down that morning. They contact the dad and the mom within 30 minutes of finding the car. You can see footage of the cop with Jason's ID, which means they had his wallet. You see them go through the wallet. You see them find the weed and then automatically accuse him of possibly being a delivery boy, which is insane. And I cannot believe that that was their first thought when he's got rolled joints to smoke. You don't deliver rolled joints to people like that. It's just not a thing here. So they make this stupid comment, right? They only pick up his backpack. They see his bloody underwear, his boxers nearby. You walk down the road a little bit. He's got his shoes on the ground. Everything you just saw, the toiletry bag. I do believe he also had some sort of game console. It could have been like a Switch or an Xbox. I don't remember. He also had a cup with a bag in it. In that bag was his pet fish, Sparky, that he loved. Sparky was dead. It was a live fish in a bag like you would get from a pet store in the cup. His friends believe that the reason he brought Sparky in that bag was because he was going to be with his friends for the evening and then take Sparky back to his house with his parents and release him into his old tank. All right, so this is a fish Jason apparently had, and he had intentions to bring it with him. I saw a lot of people wondering, did he stop off at the mall? Like, what's going on here? No, he had this fish for a while. He brought it with him. His fish, Sparky, is in the bag, in the cup, on the ground. Imagine you as a parent get a call that your kid's vehicle has been wrecked. All of your kids' clothes are in the street and all of their belongings on a dirt road in the middle of nowhere, the opposite way of where they should have been going. There's blood on their underwear, which I believe was because the driver's side door was crashed into the barbed wire fence. So to get out, he had to climb through it. And I believe it snagged his chones and poked him. It's not like a ton of blood. It's like a little dot of blood. And you can see that in the last episode. Now imagine you get this call and you show up to the exact crime scene where because I believe they sent him like a location. You show up, you see your kid's car wrecked out in this fenced in area. The police have it. They say they can't find his cell phone. You find his cell phone, your kid's cell phone, in the car that's trashed. You're told a survivable accident. You look at it, it looks terrible. You go out to the area where the accident happened. There's no crime scene tape. There's nobody looking for him. There's no officers on scene. And all their stuff is still in the fucking road. How pissed would you be? What if someone did take Jason or do something to Jason? Wouldn't that evidence be really fucking vital? So the dad, who is a lawyer that turned pastor, starts filming. And you're about to see what he saw. And that's what we're looking at right here.
And I was the only one there looking for him. Got his phone from the car about 7 in the morning.
Authorities leave behind some of his things on the side of the road. His father finds them the next day as he searched for his son.
This is his toiletry bag. This is his flip-flops. These are Jason's clothes lying in the road. Socks, shorts, it's underwear.
Since then, the Landrys have been living a nightmare that never ends, not knowing what happened to Jason.
Someone has to know something. All it's going to take is one person. I can't imagine that someone else would do this to another family. to have the information, and not share it. I just can't.
So, Clam, this is actually a good point. Like, I thought about this too. A lot of people speculated on this, but there's a couple of reasons as far as like his intent for that evening that I think negate that as a possibility. First of all, like an hour before he leaves, he's in that exact shirt, he's in those exact clothes, and he's carrying his stuff, and they have a Snapchat video of him with everything he's taking with him. He also left his fish, and Jason was like really obsessed with this fish and like really like loving the animals. Nobody thinks that he would have just done that, you know? And also the fact that his car was wrecked. Like, if he had basically like changed clothes to go into the wild or to go somewhere else, then I just think that we would at least see the backpack unzipped and opened. It kind of makes no sense to like take the change of clothes out after stripping in a street, in a dirt road, in a place that you've likely never been, and then to zip it back up and leave your other clothes in the street. It's a little confusing, but when you see more of the crime scene, it's like, I don't know about that. Like, it really does seem like he was just naked. Also, he only had one pair of shoes, and they were those flip-flops, and they were in the street. So regardless, he wouldn't have shoes. And that's a very interesting thing, especially out in a place with like rattlesnakes, burrs, stickers, cacti, not to mention bull nettle, like a motherfucker. I cannot imagine walking through a Texas field barefoot. That is a horrible idea. So I don't know that he would do that. But let's keep going.
Can't imagine someone being that cold-hearted, not to help another family.
Kent Landry was an attorney for many years. He's now a pastor.
Oh, dude, the parents are hysterical. This is 4 months ago. They've been looking for him for 4 years. I've talked to a lot of families of missing people that don't cry. And even if you tell them, like, I heard a rumor that she was dead and eaten by alligators, they just stay there stone-faced because they've heard it all, dude. Not only have they heard it all, they've heard it all. They've gotten their hopes up that they're finally going to get an answer, even if it's not the one they want. And then to find out it's another dud, and then add in psychics, and then add in total strangers saying I solved this case, and then add in people saying it's a serial killer. Like, they've been through all that over these years. They're at the point now where they're exhausted and they have no more tears to cry, and yet they are still crying. His dad openly weeps constantly. This is one of the best dads I've ever seen as far as like advocating for their kid and looking for him and putting everything they have into him. I absolutely think that they're upset. I don't think they're hysterical because it's been 4 years. I think they were hysterical when it first happened. But also in the video where his dad's filming, he's in shock. Like, he's still thinking, I can find my kid. Now it's been 4 years. Now he's fucking upset. Like, now he's like, okay, this, like, over time, it gets more serious the longer it goes, right? So I do also, you're just seeing a snippet. In some of the past episodes, we've seen his dad talk about this, and he is definitely hysterical. So keep in mind, this is very recent reports.
And says they know wherever Jason is, he's with God.
I became an attorney for the same reason I became a pastor. I want to help people. You can help people greatly as an attorney, but the most help you give someone is telling them about Jesus. So
there was a dot of blood on the waistband, and it looks like he was possibly poked by barbed wire.
Reasoning is the same, to try to help people to make a positive difference in the world, to leave the world a better place than when you came.
And it is the prayers of.
And by the way, Caldwell County cops are corrupt as fuck. They did a shit job when Texas Rangers and all the search crews and the higher ups got involved. Oh my God. Fantastic, amazing job. I would hope that they would use the resources they used on Jason on any one of us if we went missing. But it was kind of too little too late. The local cops did a Canton job. They did a piss poor Norfolk Canton job. It is not surprising. This is oil territory. These are good old boys. This is a really tiny town. And by the way, this is where my old roommate was from who went missing. These people are fucking corrupt as shit. They will do anything to get out of having to work. I am also, for the record, in my opinion, a little suspicious of old volunteer firefighter.
Thousands that the Landrys
And yes, they did miss Parks. They left all his shit on the side of the road.
say is getting them through this, the nightmare that all parents have, a nightmare that they know someone out there has the key to stop.
I don't know who you are, and I don't really care. All I care about is my son. And we want to know what happened.
Exact thoughts, Miss Parks. Exactly.
And we want to know where he is. And if you know that, you need to come forward. We set up an anonymous line. I don't care who you are. I am not in, I don't care about retribution or revenge. What I care about is my son. This has had to be laying on your heart and been eating you up from inside. And if you've known this piece of information for this entire time, it's had to be gnawing from inside. So I'm just asking you to let it out. Make one phone call. Let us know where our boy is.
It's horrible to think that something's happened to him and we can't find him. We don't know where he is. We don't know what he's going through right now. I mean, it's just horrible. We know wherever he is, God is with him.
Now their wish is to give a resting place to their son and find justice. The Landrys now have the help of Project Absentees, a nonprofit that helps find the missing. Through interviews and tips, Project Absentees and their former agents are piecing together the puzzle of what happened to the Texas State student.
We've talked to a lot of people in this area along with a couple.
Yeah, so prior to this, about an hour before, he did leave a Snapchat and like FaceTime with some friends, and he is sweating so hardcore on his armpits. It goes down to like below his chest area, the amount of sweat. So him, whether it's paradoxical undressing or him just undressing because of temperature, the way he was talking about like his third eye and all this stuff, to me, it seemed so much like he was on hallucinogens. They did test the joints that he had rolled to see what was in them. Obviously they can't do a toxicology, but they tested them to see if they were laced, and they were like, well, the joints weren't laced. But here's the thing, those are unsmoked. Those are not necessarily what he already smoked. Those could have been set aside for his trip or his friends. That doesn't tell me he wasn't on mushrooms or something. And here's the thing, even if he was, who gives a fuck? That doesn't change the fact that this kid's missing, nor does it make him a distributor or a drug dealer. This is a kid tripping on his third eye in college, all right? He looks like he hasn't had very much sleep, and he's saying a bunch of weird shit to his friends on FaceTime. He's driving safely, according to all of the apps and the digital trails, for about an hour, and then he just suddenly ends up on this road he's not supposed to be on. It is a dirt road. He makes 2 turns, and well after the second turn, that's when he wrecks. It's a shitty kind of windy road, but it's not super curvy. I'm of the opinion that he was possibly tripping on something and got a head injury. However, the fact that none of his bones have been found, I know so many people have said like, oh, well, his body's probably out there and they haven't found it yet. They did a 50-mile search. They used everything you can technologically. They used drones. They used multiple sets of dogs. They've done 9 searches over the past 4 years. 7 of the initial searches were done in the first 2. 2 of the biggest searches were done in the first couple of months. There's been nothing. We don't have animals that devour bones here other than wild hogs. We don't have alligators and shit like that, but the wild hogs, they still don't necessarily devour an entire human. They would at least leave something. Now, because he took his clothes off in advance, I mean, you wouldn't find any clothes, but you would at least find traces of bone, or at least track some trails, however you say it, like his footprints. You would see something. There's fucking nothing. That's what's weird. In my opinion, if it were to be something else, I do wonder if he was ran off the road, wrecked, and then somebody went, oh shit, maybe there was some road rage going on. Person accidentally, not accident, they've run him off the road, something happens. Then they realize, oh shit, I fucked up. This kid's dead now. And they just toss him in a vehicle. Because of the digital trail, there's like 67 unaccounted for minutes. The timing is weird. The phone call from the volunteer fire guy who found him is weird. The statements made are weird. However, let's say they say this guy didn't do it at all, which is what everybody says. Then it's even weirder, because why is there no trace of him? Let's keep going.
Throughout Caldwell County, we've talked to a lot of people in San Marcos. We do have a fairly good idea what could have happened to Jason.
Information they do not want to make public until state and local authorities have a chance to do their job and tighten the circle around those who may have killed the 21-year-old.
Do you hear that? Project Absentis got involved. They are very thorough and very good at their job. All right? Very thorough. For them to make statements on the news as recently as 4 months ago about tightening the search around someone who killed him is a big fucking deal. Again, keep in mind, this would have been a naked kid, an adult, totally naked, roaming around in a good old boy small town community where you are allowed to shoot anybody that's on your property, and you can shoot to kill, especially if you've warned them. Let's say he's on mushrooms, he's naked, he's wandering around property, and a dad with 2 little girls in the house asleep sees him. They don't know he's a teen. They just know there's a naked guy in my field. There's also the possibility that somebody hit him with a car after he wandered off. There's the possibility that he did go into the wild, which would be crazy, and how. There's a possibility that he wandered off from a head injury, passed away from the elements. It was 20-something degrees that night. Hypothermia, died, and somehow they just missed him on every search. This is a very strange case.
In this area along with Caldwell County throughout.
I love
Caldwell
that
County,
too,
we've
by
talked
the
to a
way,
lot of
Uncle
people,
Frank.
In San Marcos. We do have a fairly good idea what could have happened to Jason.
Information they do not want.
We have a fairly good idea of what could have happened to Jason, and then the killer comment. Very weird. Very weird from this news station specifically. They're pretty good at fact checking. Also, we do need to get you an emotional support fish, Uncle Frank.
To make public until state and local authorities have a chance to do their job and tighten the circle around those who may have killed the 21-year-old. Peña took us to see exactly where the last digital footprints of Landry were recorded by his cell phone. We drove that same path in disbelief that someone who did not live here or know the area would travel this desolate road. This is also the reason Project Absentis is now asking once again for a geofence warrant to be issued.
And it'll tell us the other cell phones that were active in that area.
There weren't any farmers that had to deal with trespassers that night that we know of. Also, they canvassed the area, they searched the area, but on the Facebook page, there's one woman who's pretty obsessed with this case. She started the page. She's gone through every fucking possibility. Sometimes she's a little overly enthusiastic, I'll be honest, with some crazy shit. Some people have made mention, oh, maybe it was aliens. No, get fucked. That's enough. I'd be pissed if someone brought that up about my kid. In reality, there are a couple of things that were happening around there at the time that were a bit odd. For example, they were plugging these oil well holes the Railroad Commission was in charge of. She made this post saying in 2020 they were plugging these holes and there would have been workers out in the oil field right there in that area at 7 a.m. the next morning, and that they would have seen him. and that they were actively plugging these holes on this month in 2020. And then she says, think about that how you want. And it's like, okay, well, what are you trying to say here? So I can think about it all I want. I can speculate all I want, but I happen to know who ran for railroad commissioner that year because it was my friend who was a comic. And I reached out to her and I sent her some of the stuff, and we're going to wait and see what she has to say. But she was literally running on the platform that year to like try to do more with the railroad commission that was in charge, believe it or not, of these old railroad lines that eventually got stripped up and turned into these oil wells. So I'm going to get her feedback on that. I don't know that there's much there. What I do find interesting, they searched all of the tanks and water in the area, they said, but they didn't do any dive searches that I know of. Simultaneously, a lot of people had to do wading through the water searches, right? But there's these oil wells that are pretty deep that in order to basically see what's in them, the owner would have to drain them. The county's not allowed to tell them to do that. So they asked them to drain them and to report back. So the police didn't actually show up and search those. They just took it on the good faith clause that these landowners would just do that. As far as we know, none of them have. So there we are. Let's keep going.
And that gives us some leads that we can then go, and possible witnesses that we can identify and then go talk to.
To put it in perspective, the area where his car was found
True
is
military mom.
northwest of Luling. That is the complete opposite direction he would need to take if he was driving home to Missouri City near Houston. He would have taken Highway 183 south to I-10. So after traveling for about 4 miles, the last part of it gravel, dirt road, no light out here, the vehicle crashed right here at the street. But this is not where they found the clothes. The clothes were found that way.
I find it hard to believe that you have a car accident, a missing person, and no one found the clothes or the cell phone right away.
Is there any doubt in your mind that you will figure out what happened to Jason?
Yeah, we're dedicated to finding out, and I believe very strongly with the team that we have, we're going to find out what happened to Jason.
Answers that his family knows someone is holding back on.
All right, college kid. So it looks like right. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Yep.
That's why I didn't want to leave it back.
That or he's a delivery boy.
The Landry family tells us they're upset about recent comments the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office made to the media about their son's alleged use of marijuana the night he disappeared, and of the release of Jason's digital footprints, including these Snapchat videos showing their son's interest.
By the way, this is going to be the first time on this channel that you've heard him speak. Everything that we've shown had the audio stripped away. The friend had to find the video with the audio on it because he accidentally sent the wrong one to the media and the cops, and then they found the right one, and here it is. So you're about to hear Jason speak. He's still in the shirt that they found on the side of the road. This is 1 hour before he went missing. Just so you can see he's not totally psychotically hallucinating, but he is on something, maybe, possibly.
Including these Snapchat videos showing their son's interest for pot.
Tiff, because it's Texas, and this is what we do.
Or like the oxygen part out of the water and been that
time for someone else to look at it, or maybe entertain the possibility that someone else was involved, because Jason's not in the place we've been searching around the accident. Don't you at least have to entertain the possibility? I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
So Uncle Frank, this kid's he's a 21-year-old college kid, and it's literally Maura Murray, but if she took her clothes off and left him in the street and then disappeared, it's the exact same situation, but on a dirt road in Texas in December. It's been 4 years. They still haven't found him. The cops, I'm going to go back a little so you can see this, and then I'll play it all the way through. But the cops, as you can see, this is the first footage of them arriving on scene to his wrecked out car and how they treat the scene of the crime. Just watch this.
Holding back on.
All right, college kid. So it looks like right. Oh my goodness. Uh-oh. Yep. Whew.
Also, no, he took his clothes off in the street, and they know that actually because there's another video from the other day. You can see it perfectly, but we'll talk about that in the future after we get through this video. You can see that his boxers, you know how when you take off chones, just the way they sit on the ground with the waistband up, collected almost like they slinky down. That's what they looked like. And then his shoes were nearby, and then his shirt, and everything was in order going down the road. So it looks like he stripped as he climbed out of the car. He cut himself on the waist, got a little blood on his waistband, took his clothes off in the road, took his flip-flops, and then was walking the opposite direction of the crash. I don't think someone hit him and stripped his clothes off. I think if he was hit by a car, he was naked.
That or he's a delivery boy.
The Landry family tells us they're upset about recent comments the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office made to the media about their son's alleged use of marijuana the night he disappeared and of the release of Jason's digital.
This is a great question, Michelle. A geofence warrant is like what I desperately want them to get in Missy Bever's case. It's what they actually tried to do to track down Richard Allen. The problem is they got rejected by the courts, and now they're still in the court system fighting to allow geofence warrants or to appeal the final decision on them. What it is imagine a crime happened on a property. This is the best way I can explain it. Imagine a crime happened on your front lawn, right? Imagine there's 300 people in town, all right? And it's not a heavily trafficked area. You're the only house within 2 square miles. Somebody died on your lawn. Somebody was murdered on your lawn. It wasn't you. You wake up, the cops are outside. It's a whole Karen Reed situation, right? Like you've got a dead cop on your fucking lawn. It's 3 a.m. You were asleep. You come outside. There's cops everywhere. They're like, who killed this man? You say it's not you. They can prove it's not you because your Apple Health down. I don't know, something like that, right? So let's say they wanted to know, well, who was in the area? They can do a geofence warrant that basically puts a fence around a perimeter and tells you what cell phones or devices were active in that area. So if there were only 10 people total in that whole area in a 12-hour period, and they're looking for 1 square mile, 12-hour period, what phones were active. And it tells them 10 different phones at 10 different phone numbers were active. Here's where they were and what time they were pinging. That's what a geofence warrant is. Who was in the area? What's their number? And then you look at it, and let's say one person happens to be right at the crime scene, right at the time we believe the crime occurred. They would then need to take that geofence warrant and say, we did a geofence of the area. We found out digital traces of XYZ cell phone. These people's cell phones were in the area, but only this one was at the crime scene. Is that enough probable cause to get a warrant to now search that phone? You need the geofence warrant to get that warrant. The court has been arguing back and forth on this. Is this okay? Is it okay to possibly warrant someone or do the geofence warrant without probable cause for a specific person? Or can you do it for an area? Like, can you basically do a warrant on an area that is all encompassing of anyone who is in that area? I see the arguments for and against it. The arguments for it will dramatically help solve so many cases. The arguments against it protect our privacy and freedom. It's a difficult subject. It reminds me of the debate over genetic genealogy and DNA. This is a complicated one. For such a small area with so few people, a geofence warrant would be perfect for this case. Missy Bever, excuse me. Oh God, I coughed and burped. Missy Bevers, Delphi, for example, a whole bunch of others. But that's a geofence warrant.
Digital footprints, including these Snapchat videos showing their son's interest for pot.
Or like the oxygen part out of the water.
No,
and
AJ.
then that.
There haven't been any.
Time for someone else to look at it, or maybe entertain the possibility that someone else was involved, because Jason's not in the place we've been searching around the accident. Don't you at least have to entertain the possibility? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I don't know that. That's not my job. That's his job, not to judge my son, is to try to figure out what happened. Well, it hurts. To be honest, it feels like character assassination of my son. And it just doesn't make sense to me. What's the point? Why?
A few months ago, he asked the Attorney General's office to take over the investigation into what happened to his son from the Caldwell County Sheriff's Office. After the county released these videos, pictures, and digital footprints to Fox.
Great question, Ducati girl. Ugh, too long, dude. The dad was there at the scene hours later in the morning, and there were no cops around, and all this kid's shit was in the road. Like, the parents had to figure that out, but it was within a month.
San Antonio, we asked for an interview, but got an email instead that in part says, we are hopeful that the Texas Attorney General's office newly formed Missing Persons Unit agrees to take this case on and will be meeting with that office in the coming weeks.
I'm not collecting up the clothes, but I'm taking this.
Landry's family is shocked that these videos, Snapchats, and other evidence were released to the media.
I just think judging a 21-year-old who is missing, who can't defend themselves, and releasing this and making the comments that he made, number one, they're hurtful. But as a former criminal attorney, you know, if I were the prosecutor in that county, I would not be happy, because you're assassinating the character of your victim. And that's not law enforcement's job. It's not law enforcement's job to judge us. It's to protect us and to help us, regardless of whether you smoke pot.
Left the keys in there and it's all locked up. I'm not smelling any marijuana. That's what they were telling me.
Tomorrow night, we see Jason Landry's last digital footprints, and we hear from the Texas State student in videos he recorded before he headed home for the holidays.
Lead investigator Captain Jeff Ferry says there is no evidence to suggest that this is or will become a criminal case.
There's thousands of images over the area where Jason was believed to have gone missing from, over a pretty good timeline.
Newly released video shows Landry FaceTiming a friend in his San Marcos apartment for nearly an hour right before leaving to Missouri City.
We're able to say with confidence that he doesn't stop. He continues his route of travel. He's in the car by himself.
Other video released shows Landry smoking marijuana on Snapchat, something Captain Ferry says is relevant to this case.
You know, people can be participants in criminal activity and still be victims of crime. So that's not our intent in victim blaming. We are able to say that, you know, the things we're releasing because we have confidence that they are directly associated with events tied to Jason Landry being missing.
Captain Ferry says the next step in this investigation is to speak with the Attorney General's office.
They have a new cold case division, and so we're hopeful that they'll agree to take this case over.
Well, right now we're following a breaking development in a missing person case that we've been following for almost 2 years now, that of Jason Landry. We just spoke with his father, who confirmed investigators in New York are heading to a hospital to determine if a man who was found unconscious in the Bronx is his son. So this comes after the NYPD released this photo last night, seeking help to identify that individual. They say he was found Friday night, unconscious and unresponsive on a street in the Bronx with no apparent injuries. And Ken Landry told us that just looking at the picture, it does look a lot like his son. Other than that, though, he didn't know why investigators are considering his son as they try to identify that individual.
It's very up or down. I mean, it's been 591 days of up and down. So it would just, gosh, you're afraid to hope. But you just keep hoping and praying.
That was the father of Jason Landry, who was 21 when he went missing. And his dad said that he hopes that by tonight, investigators in New York will have an ID, or at least know whether or not it is his son. Investigators here in Texas have sent over all the information on his fingerprints and anything else that they have on file.
By the way, I don't think we're going to have time for Garth tonight, so we'll do Garth tomorrow. I really want to finish this video with you, but while it plays through, I'm going to find you this thing that is in one of the Facebook groups that is so wild to me. if you guys watched this the other night, there was the guy that, they thought was him in Brooklyn that was in a hospital room, looked just like him. Like, to me, it was like, oh, good, they found him and he's alive. It was not him. Even his parents thought it could be him. But then they found another guy recently, like this year, in California, that people thought was him. It was a homeless kid on the beach. I want to show him to you. Spitting image of Jason. Supposedly not Jason. The jury's out on that. But I'm going to show that to you in a moment. And I want you to see. This is shockingly uncanny. Let's keep going.
File to identify him.
Also, no, Clam. No. But he was interested. I believe somebody said he was interested in like horticulture and stuff. Probably want to grow weed one day or something. Most 20-something-year-olds do. But like Texas State, it's not really like a party school. It's a place where people go because, they just want to hurry up and get an education, but they actually want to do shit with their degree. Like, it's not Arizona State. It's not Texas Christian. It's not, I would say the closest like big time state college that kind of reminds me of it, I guess, would maybe be like Texas Christian University or SMU. Like it, and also it's very similar to UNT, really, which used to be mainly a jazz school, but then it has the Othram Forensics Lab in it and stuff. They've got like, it's where they identify all the cadavers. It's where I went to college. But San Marcos, they have a lot of different programs, and they also have access by train or by, I guess, Metro Rail directly to Austin, to San Antonio. It's kind of a school that you go to that you would think would be a party school, but it's really not. Like, the most kids do there is like they go drink and float the river. Other than that, it's like a couple of potheads here and there, but it's just it's got a really good rate of like kids that like get through school and go on to do good things. It's not like a super prestigious school, but it's not a shitty one. A lot of people, I've heard people call it a party school, but it's really not. It's like, it's got a lot of really quick, good programs. And I think he was doing pretty good in school. You have to understand, functional potheads, if you don't smoke pot, a lot of people think that it's impossible to like survive or like do everyday things on weed. It's not like being a functional alcoholic at all. It's literally like, some people, they smoke a ton and it does nothing to them, and some people go completely crazy. I guarantee you can get straight A's in college and be a pothead, because I fucking did it. It's kind of common here for people to like just smoke weed or just drink. I don't think he was a drinker, really. So yeah, he's not like a kid that's like out. I also had a theory, maybe he went out to go try to pick some mushrooms and that's why he was on that road, because people did do that, but it was also winter, so it might have been too cold. I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going. I'm going to look up this kid so I can show you the lookalike.
A man with no ID found unconscious in New York City is not missing Texas State student Jason Landry.
If you look at the picture,
Look at
it
that,
does look
dude.
a lot like our son Jason.
New York police first posted on social media asking people to help identify the man found unresponsive on the streets of the Bronx. He had no ID, but looks similar to Jason Landry. It turned out not to be him, and the man's been identified as a Yonkers resident. His family has been notified as well.
I know I'm going to see my son again. It may be here, or it's going to be in heaven. And that's the hope that makes all the difference. It's a crazy feeling. Of all the, I get sent pictures, and usually, and you take one look at it and it's not him. But this one, I actually had to look at for a while to get an idea whether I thought it was Jason or not. So, yeah, it's a strange place to be as a family. You hope it is, but you also know that it's probably not.
So now they go back to praying and hoping that with the Attorney General's office cold case unit taking the case from Caldwell County, they will soon find out what happened to Jason 591 days ago.
Caldwell County Sheriff's Office, I think it's a fair question,
what did they do with the case? What investigation did they actually do? You know, as for them, they think he was eaten by a pig, and that's all, you know, that's all. I don't think they've done anything on it really. So I think part of the issue has been with the investigators from the AG's office. They've had to go back and do investigation that probably should have been done, you know, 18 months ago. And that's hard work, and it takes a lot of time to do so. So we're having to be very patient for them to basically go back to square one and start actually investigating the case.
Before today, the Landrys and their private investigator, retired FBI agent Abel Pena, believed that someone in the area where Jason disappeared knows what happened to him. Now they're asking again to be man or woman enough to come forward and end their suffering.
You know, they can be anonymous in their tip line, but more than anything else, people need to do the right thing. If you know what happened with our son that night in December, you need to come forward, because it's got to be, I can't imagine having that kind of thing, carrying it around in your heart. And I just ask them to have the courage to step forward and to do justice.
It's the love, laughter, and hugs Jason Landry's family members say they hold on to closely.
It's still really hard not knowing any answers and knowing that your son or your nephew or your family member is just vanished.
The Luling community is keeping Jason's light alive with a prayer vigil in search of answers.
Oh, God damn it.
On the 2-year anniversary of his disappearance.
We think about him daily. We miss him, and we just still want answers. I mean, hopefully someone somewhere will know something and share.
Landry's parents and his aunt Donna Eganoff say being so close to the crash site brings back a lot of emotions.
They have bad nights where they don't sleep, but you know, they have faith in Christ.
Search crews scoured the area looking for Jason after he went missing, but nothing turned up. While other searches did offer hope, it was never Landry. Volunteer searcher Jason Watts says crews will again look in areas they think weren't thoroughly checked or haven't been searched yet.
Every missing person deserves to be looked for, deserves to be found. Every family deserves to have people that help them in their journey and help bring them hope and faith.
Family and community members are hopeful he's still out there somewhere as they bring light to darkness.
They really, truly believe in their hearts that Jason is in heaven and they will meet him again someday.
His disappearance comes down to that intersection in Luling, Alston and Magnolia Street at 11:30 p.m. From that point to when the car was found about 2 miles away on Salt Flat Road in a 1-hour time window, someone had to see something.
Project Absentees gave what they found to the Caldwell County District Attorney's Office, which then asked the Attorney General's office to pick up the case. And that's who's investigating it now.
They're having to go back and do a lot of things that could have been done earlier on, and a lot of forensic analysis and things like that.
The Landry family knows they have to be patient to hopefully find out what happened to their son.
As hard as it is to wait, we would rather wait and it be done.
God damn it.
Well, and we know the truth. And if someone is criminally responsible, that they be held responsible.
In your heart, do you think your son's still alive?
No, I think he's in heaven. We may not have any more future together on this earth, but you know, the comfort we have as a family, that I have as a dad, is that I'll see Jason again, but it'll be in heaven.
Kent Landry says they will pray someone on this anniversary will finally come forward with the truth.
For 2 years, I that's just such a burden to have that guilt, that you know, just come forward and unburden your heart. Let the truth be told, whatever it might be. Let the chips fall where they may after that, but at least start the process so that we can have answers as to where our son is.
pain never stops. You always have this question, what if? We're one of many families who are staring at an empty chair around the kitchen table, not knowing.
No matter the passage of time, Kent Landry, father of Jason Landry, says the pain of having a missing son never goes away.
Are they gone? Are they not gone? What can you do?
He says as a pastor, his family has leaned on their faith to cope, but that still doesn't give them the answers they need.
It's a prayer of people, our family, and knowing an eternal hope in Christ is the only thing that makes you get through it. I honestly don't know from that first week if we actually have any more answers than we had that first time.
The case is now in the hands of the Texas Attorney General's Cold Case and Missing Persons Unit. In a statement Wednesday, the unit reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to the investigation, and last month it even put together a roundtable to discuss the case. Sitting at that table was Texas Search and Rescue, which has coordinated countless searches in this case that have spanned more than 57 square miles and 35,000 square acres.
Folks that show up to these searches, they're highly trained.
Okay, so do you see the difference between, if you guys watch the 50 square miles, now 57. So in the last year, they added 7 more square miles onto the search. I'm about to show you guys a bunch of pictures and stuff that has to do with the case before we wrap it up. But I'm going to let the dad finish. I know this is really sad, and you know, I'm not a religious person, and I'm not someone who's like super into thoughts and prayers. Unless you ask me for them, you can always have them. They take nothing away from me, and I'm totally happy to give them. You're going to hear his parents talk about religious stuff and about their feelings about Christ. I don't cut those off. I play them through because it's his family and they have a right to say what they want and feel how they want. I'm just putting that disclaimer out there because I have gotten emails from people like, I wish you wouldn't share, blah, blah, blah. No, it's the families are allowed to fucking feel how they want. I don't care if it's Paul O'Keefe saying Karen did it. I don't care if it's the parents saying God's going to help us. If you're a victim or the family of a victim, you're allowed to feel however the fuck you want. It does not affect me in any way, and it doesn't affect any of us in any way. So we're going to let that happen. I'm going to play this out, and I'm going to show you guys some crazy pictures.
But they're moms and dads too.
Texar Director of Communications Shannon Smith says despite the use of forensics, aerial photos, and behavior analysis, it's frustrating when that's not enough.
To try, to see and ensure that, no stone, isn't looked at, but it's difficult when the answers just aren't there.
Landry says while it does nothing for the pain, he's still relieved so many are working to find his son.
There's so many law enforcement that will run that lead down and take it from there. But if there's someone who knows something, please make that anonymous call.
There you go. And write that number down if you're in Texas. If you know anybody from Caldwell County area, Austin, Houston, San Antonio, all the way out to the west, the east, all sides surrounding this area. If you write that number down, that way if you ever fucking see someone who looks like him or hear a rumor or something and you need someone to contact, that tip line does work. I have tried to call it just to check. I'm one of those people I call every tip line on every case I look at just to make sure it's working. There have been a few that aren't. And I found that if you alert them, they usually fix it. Unless it's Houston. Then they go, well, what do you want me to do about it? And it's like, ma'am, I want you to shut the fuck up and help me. All right. So here's what I'm going to show you guys. What you're about to see. Okay, here's the thing. I don't ever want to put speculation on this channel that doesn't have any potential or possibility or basis behind it, anything that'll hurt anybody or cause any doxing or problems. But I do find that so often people who do their own research and look into these cases and do their own OSINT, they'll often come across this shit on their own. And instead of having you have to go through 2 to 3 weeks of debunking something that we already know is bullshit, I think it is important to get those out of the way and let you know, hey, by the way, if you run into this, it's not true, or here's the status, or they know, and, we're waiting to hear back, stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're going to do now. We're going to go through some of the theories and the stuff that's online so that I can tell you kind of where it stands. So if you come across it, you're not like, oh, but Dad, did you see this? Like, there's also a lot more we're going to go through on another episode, but this is the basic stuff from the main search page that I personally really like to follow for his case, which is Talk of Jason Landry. And the reason I like that one, even though there are, of course, always going to be some nut job wackadoos in a couple of these search pages, this one seems to be on top of the local shit, and there's a lot of locals in there. If he was still alive right now, he'd be 25. Okay, so he'd be 25 years old. All right, here's what I'm going to show you. This is the most recent. This is so crazy. I'm sorry. I don't mean to like giggle. It's just like, I'm like, I thought I was like, no, this is totally him. Like, this is recent. This is literally from August 2nd. So, what is that? 2-3 months ago? Crazy. 2 months ago, this person was spotted on this beach. I'm not going to show you the chat in it. Here we go. This homeless kid was on a beach, and he told these people on the beach that, he was hungry and he didn't have any food or water, and that I guess that he had like traveled there or something, and had been sleeping on the beach. So they gave him a bunch of water and food, took a picture of him. He didn't mind at all. And then they submitted it to the page. I believe they have submitted it to the cops and to his parents. Again, this was just 2 months ago. I have seen people say, nope, not him, but that's it. They don't comment why. So I do think this has been sent to the parents, but we're waiting to hear back. So let's take a look. This is his second doppelganger, and it is wild. Boom. So one's in the chat. If you think, just looking at the picture, does this look like Jason to you? Two's in the chat if you don't think it's him. So twos are, no, I don't think it's him. Ones are, this could be the guy. And now we wait. One, okay, Jen thinks so. I think so too. Like, God, it looks so much like him. 11111. Okay. Two. And here's the thing, a lot of people say not his ears or he's missing his mole. You got to remember, when people take these pictures and then sometimes put it online, it can flip it. I'm very curious on if this is a flipped image and we're looking actually at his left side. Definitely skinnier, which could explain some of the differences. We got a lot of ones going on here. Wow. Okay, let's click through and see. Okay, we got 1, we got 1, 2 so far. 1, 2 from Kraken, the real booty. C. Taylor, 1, 1, 1. Jen says skinny now. I agree, very skinny now. Oh, Rubber Ducky says 1. I need a side by side. It looks like a skinnier version. Okay, let me see if I can pull you up a side by side. Let's pull you up a little side by side here. Okay. And I'll do. Hold on, let me pull this up. Okay, Jason Landry. Here's another thing. He looks like he's shaved, and he's in a nice clean shirt. But it is very interesting. In here, I'm just gonna take this and we'll just minimize it so we can see a few pictures of Jason, and then we will minimize this and we'll just show you the whole screen. There we go. Because it's kind of hard to do a side by side with this, but I think I can figure it out. Here we go. Yeah, I'm just going to show you the whole screen. Boop, 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 boop. All right. I think that's good enough. Okay. Come on. Sorry, this is tricky. I want to get them right next to each other. All right. Let me see. Where did that pic go? Here we are. Okay. So let me share the entire screen. Or I guess the window, entire screen. Here we go. This one, share. All right, here we go. So, I mean, I'm looking mainly at this one, the last one we saw. I wish we had a better side profile, but I mean, damn, right? Pretty convincing, especially here. Look at this one. Look at his eyes. Like, look at his eyes right there. Here's a bigger one. There you go. This is a tough one. You can call me Lord. Okay. Could you have amnesia or a head injury? He could. He could have that. I could have it too. Shit. Skinny, that's an odd word if you think about it. Yeah, it is. But he does look very, like, I guess, emaciated. Question mark. Can you guys see it okay? What do you think about this? A super skinnier version? Yeah, he looks really, really like he's lost a lot of weight. If it is him. If it is him. So here's the other thing. People are saying, well, where is this and this, right? So if he's standing facing this way, right? And they take a picture, then it should be right here. But if he's facing the opposite way and then they flipped the image, you wouldn't see that. I mean, shit, you guys, to me, looks just like him, especially right here. Here's another one. Look at that. People were saying this nose is too pointy, but it's like we're seeing straight on pictures in most of his photos. This one, we see it slightly turned. It does look kind of pointy. What do you guys think? I think the eyebrows are a little bit different. I thought the chin didn't match until I saw the side by side, right? Because see, look at right here. It's very odd. It's the eyebrows. They look just the same. You think it's the eyebrows? I mean, they kind of do, right? I thought maybe that would be the difference, but I think you're right. They do kind of look the same. I think this might be. There we go. I mean, I think maybe the lips are a little bit different. People were saying this guy has a longer face and different ears. Let's look at these ears. Okay. And this is kind of turned sideways, so it's hard to look. I mean, I will put links to this so that you guys can compare and contrast and go through and see what you think on your own. But also, then look at this kid. Oh my God, dude. He looks so much like him. How do you have that many doppelgangers that are unidentified John Does? And by the way, this is the blood spot on his chones. Let's open it in a new image so that you can see. That's how big it was. And see how there's like a little rip here? It looks like they were slightly snagged. Crazy, right? Yeah, a lot of these kids here, I mean, a lot of dudes here look alike, especially when you consider the culture. Everybody's got kind of the same haircut for a while, same goatee. There's trends, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was some of the stuff I wanted to show you on this new guy. Tracy's going with a 2. So we have a bulk 1s and we have like 2 or 3 2s. It's a very intriguing situation here. Let me exit out of there. Now I'm going to show you some other stuff. Okay. So this is a cattle guard. This is right by the entrance that he passed before he wrecked out. Why is this important? This is here. Specifically, they put these at entrances of farms, not so much so people can't get in, but so the cows can't get out. If they leave this gate open so a vehicle can get in, the cows still can't escape because their hooves get stuck in the cattle guard. So it keeps them from exiting the property. Now, if it's pitch black at night, you're barefoot, you're potentially on something, whether it's mushrooms, pot, whatever, and you've just crashed your car, have a head injury, and you're naked. This could be a bit of a deterrent for you, but they do have to check just in case, you know, are there any bones in here? Is there anything in here? This is them doing the search party. This is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about plugging abandoned oil wells. It's like La Brea tar pits. It's literally like a little puddle that looks like water, but it's actually a tapped well that has basically been abandoned. They pull the drill out, and then you just have this little patch. Now, what's interesting is in some of these, if they're older and bigger, there are like holes that some people can, I mean, I guess you could get stuck in one, but some of them can be pretty deep. And for these, you can't just dive, especially when there's actual oil leaking into them. They're very hard to really search in general. So they were relying on the Railroad Commission figuring out when they were going to be plugged and telling everyone, and they were relying on property owners to check them on their own. But there's some that have been abandoned and the property's up in the air. So this is another problem. You've got hundreds of these all around these fields, surrounded by burrs, cacti, all this shit. They can do a quick scan of them, but even volunteer searchers can't really get in these because it's dangerous, you know? Great question, Uncle Frank. I don't believe he did. He was a cheerful dude. He didn't seem to be undergoing any depression. He wasn't having a recent breakup. He loved the fuck out of his parents, his dad, his mom. Everybody says they got along great. It's I mean, literally the only part that was considered taboo is that like he smoked pot, but you saw his dad, even he didn't give a fuck. He's like, it's just pot, you know? Which is weird because he was a defense attorney and a pastor, but I've met a lot of them who are like that. I know pastors of mega churches that smoke hella weed. So like he just wants his kid back, you know? He'll do anything to get his kid back and he'll answer any question. He's been very open, and I have yet to see him say anything about him having a recent issue or mental illness. So I don't think so. I don't even think he was on any medication. Yeah, he does not have a home or a cell phone is what was on this post. Let me find. Okay, this is what his chones look like, his undies, when they found them. This is like, see how they're just dropped in the waistbands up here? Actually, no, these aren't the chonies. These are the shorts, I believe. So like his stuff's just laying on the road. It's fucking wild. This is another recent thing that happened. So everybody was speculating on this business fire that led to an arrest suspect charged with 3 felonies. This fire happened at I believe it was a tire store, this business that was literally at the intersection, I believe, where his phone was last pinged. It was right near there and like between there and the crash site. And what's interesting is that the guy who owned this business, I believe was related, possibly. This is all rumor and speculation. Don't take this as fact. But the rumors in the Facebook groups are that this guy is related, excuse me, to people at the fire department, including possibly the VFD guy. This guy gets busted for having a shitload of liquid meth and about $820K of cash, gold, and silver, and a bunch of guns, which is a big no-no, in his business, and it caught on fire, and everything burned to the ground. They argued on whether it was arson, whether it was a insurance fraud, or whether it was an accident. But basically, this has caused a lot of speculation considering Jason's case. And remember how I told you, like, the main crime out there is like, it's going to be like a meth lab and then like drunk driving, stuff like that. So very odd that there is so much methy behavior surrounding arson and the fire department. The fact that it was liquid meth and that much money is a lot. A lot of people speculated cartel after that. I think that's bullshit. I think that I think this was good old boy shit. Very strange. Very strange, though, that this happened so close. Let's keep going. This is a video of the tire shop. The one I believe that burned down that we were just talking about. Look how beautiful it is. You would never suspect. Yeah, I agree with you, Frank. It just looks so much like him to me. But also considering the kid in Brooklyn, maybe Maybe it isn't, man. It's really wild. Shout outs to JoJo for getting this badass video. I'm probably gonna have to blur her later. Leave JoJo alone. She's a sweetie. She got this video for everyone. Look at that. Beautiful, right? That's lulling. This is a snake that one of the searchers found, and it spooked me, and I wanted to share it with you. This is why I say he wouldn't be barefoot. If he knew what if he was conscious and of mind, he would not be fucking barefoot, because this is the type of shit we're talking about. Rattleheads or rattlesnakes, copperheads, fucking, what are they called? The water ones, water moccasins. They're all over the fucking place there. So those are just a couple of examples of things that Jason would have had to go through in that area. This is also a fire that had just happened. Here, I'm going to show you one more. This is a fire that had just happened that December, about 2 weeks before Jason went missing. And the VFD was on the scene. And there were some issues with, we have burn bans here. You're not allowed to pop fireworks. You're not allowed to burn your trash or light any brush on fire when there's high winds. So let's look at this. And they frequently will bust the shit out of you and put you in jail for that shit. So this happened. This was December 1st, 2020. So this is about 2 weeks before. There was a burn ban still in effect. That was the last fire, I believe, that was responded to by the Caldwell County Volunteer Fire Department. It was odd. A lot of people were speculating, why was this volunteer firefighter calling in Jason in his vehicle wrecked? Why was this guy out and about, in his VFD truck? Like, what was he doing? Because there was a burn ban in effect and they hadn't had a call to a fire in 2 weeks. So for him to say he was responding to something or working was pretty fucking weird, right? That's what people were speculating. I have no opinion on that. I like to look more into it before I make an assumption or an opinion. But this was the last one that anyone could find any trace of. And I did look myself and did not even see any calls for fires after this. So it's just very odd that this guy was not only like driving around the area, he was so close nearby. He was a VFD. He said that, I believe his excuse or something about he was working or he was checking on something or a call. So it's just very strange that there'd been 2 weeks with no issues with fire. There were no calls at night. And yet this guy is claiming to be doing some sort of work and be VFD, and he's the one who found it. It's just all strange. So someone posted about this in the group to show everyone, and I thought it had legs. I was like, this is very interesting. Very interesting. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys that. So that's pretty much all we're going to look at today in the Jason Landry case. I will link some of all of the stuff we talked about today. It'll be under the video by morning at least. If you do go join the Facebook groups, please just, be chill, be respectful. The one I like is Talk of Jason Landry. There's a bunch of them. There's some from creators, some from the family. This one does have a lot of locals in it. I'm in it. A lot of people are in it. And yeah, there's some fucking wild ass speculation, whatever you want to call it. There's some specs. There's also some nut jobs in there who think it's aliens. There's also people in there that are making very rational arguments as to what could happen. And there are people who know locals, know the area, have lived there their whole lives. All I ask is if you go into these groups invoking the name of this channel or any of your brothers or sisters, be kind, be sweet, and always assume the family of the victim can see everything you say. That's what I live by. I think you should live by it too, if you'd like, because it'll save you a lot of fights. It'll save you a lot of drama. And it doesn't hurt to just be fucking kind. Don't be a dick. So, I highly encourage you to take part in discussion of this case, sharing this case, advocating for this case. If you're in Texas and you want to go with me to search that fucking area on the next search, I would love to go. This is Armora Murray. Fuck. It's pretty much what it is. Would it be weird if I told you that there have been 4 or 5 other cases that I found in Texas exactly like this of guys in their 20s? No, I don't think they're connected. Yes, I think it's wild how police just ignore them and botch the fuck out of them. Really bothers me. We'll talk about some of those in the future. But yeah, this has been part 3 of Jason Landry, and we're gonna keep doing more on it. We're gonna keep talking about him. I think the next episode we'll do Garth. And we'll do a call-in for your thoughts on Jason Landry, because I want to hear what you think. I've seen a lot of you guys engaging in conversation on this with fabulous, wonderful ideas, really good thoughts. I know we have a lot of nurses in the chat. Uncle Frank made a good point about bone structure, about like emaciation can change the way you look. This is all very important. Hey, JMT, about the same, but they might have answers soon, which will make me feel, oh yeah, about your results, but I might be able to go home tomorrow since the results will be back. Oh, so are they going to call you? Like, how do they do that? And do the results change anything? Are they going to make you have to come back? I just hope that there's something that, if we can do anything for you, let me know. And if you get sent home, which fucking praise Hoogan, we hope so, maybe we can just keep you busy. We can give you assignments. It'll be so fun. Uncle Frank, great. I think of you. Oh, you're so sweet. You guys are so sweet to your Uncle Francis. We want Uncle Francis to get better so that we can snoop and sneak. All right, let's see. Fun fact, most fire department would be arsonists if they weren't. You know, I was thinking about that too, because I have a lot of friends who are in the, speaking of the nursing field, they're in nursing and they're like, oh, I love watching cysts explode and I don't mind the smell of shit and blood. I think it's fine. It's not a big deal at all. Like, it's like, God damn, you were meant to be a nurse. You can handle all that stuff. I think there's people who love fire who get into the fire department. Same shit, you know? Anyway, I love you guys to death. Thank you so much, Ducati girl. You're so nice for saying that. Aussie Insider fucking rules. Can't wait to see her build her tiny home. Your Aunt Deb is a whore, and we love Uncle Frank. You guys have the best night ever. I will see you tomorrow. I am going to make a Jason Landry thread in our Discord. And I'll share all the links there, and I'll also share them below. I love you guys. Your aunt wanted me to go live tonight, but Bliv's lives always suck me. Oh, bitch, go live now. Go live now, and we can go watch Uncle Frank. Guys, be on the lookout for your Uncle Francis. He might be going live soon. And if so, we're doing a fucking raid. That's right. It's a hospital raid. We're raiding the OR. Put your chones on. Francis, we're coming. We're coming to watch you. Thank you guys so much. You have a great night. If you know anything about Jason Landry's case, that could be a tip, and you're watching this, tip it in. If not, I'll come find you. Just kidding. All right, I love you guys.